One. What's up, everybody? It's the Arty 84 Show live here, episode 169. As always, to the left of me, Mr. Adam the Mallet, 69. It feels like it was only yesterday we had episode 69. Now we're at 169.
Holy shit, I remember that, yes.
There you go. We have a guest tonight, comedian Brian Whitaker will be joining us in about 15 minutes from his Pots Unknown, in his bunker, of course, probably, in his quarantine life, if you will. I'm assuming he's in the waiting room right now, and he'll be joining us probably in about 10 to 15 minutes. So Stay tuned for that, because I think he's going to be naked.
Ooh.
Or at least topless.
Wow.
Yeah.
Censor bars there.
I have told all our guests now, from now on, they have to be at least topless, including the women who will be joining us. So,
I was going to say, are any of the women?
hopefully. That'd be nice. We had a chick coming on. We haven't had a lady guest in quite some time. So our next one is going to be on St. Patty's Day, and she's a comedian. So stay tuned for that, because that's
boy.
Maybe she's a little lick it up and she goes a little wild. You never know. This show, anything is possible. So we were having a little conversation before the show. We're talking about minimum wage, and we remember how much minimum wage used to be, because this is a big controversy these days. It's the $15 minimum wage, which I don't. Here's the thing: I don't think it should be a federal thing, because there's some like small towns and small states that doesn't require a $15 minimum wage in order to survive. But like in cities like Boston and New York and some California cities, it does make sense, because you need that extra money to kind of, I guess, survive, right? And right now, Adam we were just talking, the minimum wage in Massachusetts is already $12. So another $3, over the next few years really isn't that big of an increase. I do think it hurts like a West Virginia Dunkin' Donuts employee, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, my theories on minimum wage, I'm kind of always about it. It always sounds good in theory. Who doesn't want more money? Mm-hmm. But like the problem I have with when they raise the minimum wage is like, okay, well, where's my bump? Like if minimum wage is getting a bump, I should get a bump too. Because a level of, they should not be catching me. Minimum wage should not be catching a worker or somebody else who is working a more qualified, like a more important job. Okay, that's what I mean. Someone at Burger King should not be making close to what I am making. So I should technically get a bump too, but I won't.
You won't.
That's why I'm always like, when minimum wage goes up, I'm like,
well, yeah, and what it does is the money has to come from somewhere. The billionaires that own these companies aren't going to just take a hit. They're going to pass the cost on to the consumer, and then chance the prices will go up. So instead of, remember when a small coffee at Dunkin' Donuts was $1.25, and now it's like almost like $1.50, $1.60 for a small coffee.
Oh wow.
Well, the reason that coffee went up in price was because labor went up, and the people that own Dunkin' Donuts aren't going to take a pay cut. They're going to just pass the cost on to the consumer. So in theory, that's how inflation happens, and everything becomes more expensive. It's just like, well, okay, that doesn't make sense, because the way to do that is to be able to freeze prices, which they won't do, but then make the wage go up. And that way, the people that are actually taking the hit are the people that can afford to take the hit, not the people that can't afford to take the hit. You know what I mean? So I don't know.
I will say from 2008 to 2014, it stayed at $8.
Yeah. Well, you said an impressive number. You said it was like 5 something in 2000.
Oh, in 2000, it was, I'm seeing $6. Yep.
And that's Massachusetts, right?
Yes.
But
then it went to $6.75 a year later.
So $6 in 2000. What was it? You said 1960 something? How much was it? 3 something?
In 1968, it was $1.60.
So it went up. I went up $1 a decade, give or take.
Yeah.
So I mean, that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. When it's looked like that. Yeah.
Because that's about $1 a decade is about the rate of inflation. When you really think about it, to a point, it's like, so if it gone up $1 a decade,
but from 2015 to now, it's gone from $9 to what it is now, 12.
I think it's about 12, yeah.
Yeah, so from 2015 to now, it's 9 and 12.
When I first started working as a bartender, my wage was $2.35. That's how much they pay us, and now it's gone up to like $4.25. But it's like pointless, because it's like you obviously make tips, and
it's true.
It only covers you for like if you don't make enough money that night. The restaurant supposedly supposed to have to pay you the difference. of making at least minimum wage. So like, for example, if I made no money, the restaurant would have to come up with the additional $8 to hit me to 12. Stupid, something like that. But it hardly ever happens, and it's never needed to do. Others is help you with the taxes that get taken out, I guess. But I know that some places are thinking about getting rid of the whole tipping system altogether and just paying people $15 an hour, which would be terrible because there's some nights bartender I can make $55 an hour, and it's like, well, why am I going to take a $40 pay cut for the good of the country?
People aren't going to stop tipping people at bars. That's always going to happen. It's just a common thing.
I mean, maybe it will, maybe it won't. I mean, look at Europe. They don't tip there. Well, certain places don't tip there, I guess, and they all make an hourly wage, but the service is a lot terrible in Europe. I don't know if you noticed.
It's offensive.
It's what?
It's offensive in some countries.
Yeah, when I was in France, we were in Paris at the Hard Rock Cafe. It was like Thanksgiving. Well, American Thanksgiving, because they don't have Thanksgiving in France. But it was like 15 of us, and we're sitting there, and I'm like, well, and one girl at the table was like, oh, you don't have to tip. It's already included. I go, well, I'm an Italian from America, and I like to over tip. So no one on the table tipped except for the four of us. So everyone left except for the four of us. And I go up to the girl. I go, we handed her like $50. We're like, hey, take this. I go, she's like, oh, no, it's included. Like I don't get tipped. And I go, yeah, but you're dealing with, I don't want you to think Americans are assholes. So
no, but they view it as you being an asshole.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like they view it as a pity. Like that's how they view it.
But they just got to know what kind of people we come from. Very generous.
Well, it's a cultural thing. Like it's just the way it is. Like, and I get it. Like that's the way it is over there. So you got to accept that. That's their country. This is our country. They view it as like, pity. Like here, take this.
Do you think it's right if they don't tip people over here?
I know, because we're American. We're supposed to.
No, but like if foreigners come over here and don't tip when they go to a restaurant, because most of them don't.
Bullshit. You should play by whatever country you're at. You should play by their rules and accept it. That's just the way it is.
That makes sense. I like that theory. I just feel bad for the poor Dunkin' Donuts in the middle of fucking Nebraska that's going to be paying their employees who's going to be paying their employees more than their teachers.
That's fucked. That is so fucked.
You think of that? You go to school for like 6 years, and the guy working at fucking Burger King who's working the fry later is making more money than you are a year.
Imagine if you just quit being a teacher and you work down the street at Dunkin' Donuts. I'm quitting.
And the difference is, at least at Dunkin' Donuts, you can make overtime because you're hourly. Like a teacher, your salary, right? So if you put in like 45 hours a week, you could really bring in an extra fucking, like, I don't know, $1,000 a month or something like that just for working those extra hours.
And double time on holidays and Sundays, possibly, right?
Mm-hmm. That's what's going to happen. People are going to stop going to college. I mean, I think people are starting to stop going to college anyways. I think like in the next like round of kids, the next generation, the only ones who are going to college are either going to get a scholarship to go to college or a sports, like a academic or a sports scholarship. I don't see people like forcing their kids into go to college anymore because it's kind of pointless when you think about it.
Yeah, like unless you want to go into like a family business of being a lawyer or doctor.
Yes, yeah, I see lawyers and doctors, scientists, shit like that requires some kind of like formal education and because it's not just the education, it's the programs that go along with it, like the internships and the what they call it, residencies and stuff like that kind of help you. Like I don't want some kid not going to college and cutting me open and do a fucking heart transplant on me. You know what I mean?
Like imagine Arty, I'm learning my my current job through you, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if you were a neurosurgeon. You're like, all right, Adam, you're gonna become a neurosurgeon now. Get some gloves on. And
here, you're going to do this one by yourself. I'm just going to sit here. Make sure it goes all right. I can see that.
So
there's certain things, but I don't think you need to go to school to learn like women's theories of, or literature. I think that's that should be more of a club. You shouldn't go to college to learn literature because it's like literature is like something. It's like a hobby. Reading's a hobby, right? So like to me, you shouldn't have to get an education on a hobby. And like even something like it's like electrical, like electronics, and like electricians don't go to college. They become like
apprenticeship.
Yeah. And like people work at radio stations and deal with like electronics and mixer boards and stuff. Typically don't go to college. They just take a couple of courses on how to use a mixer board. And like I learned when I was a freshman in high school at the radio station or the TV station at Revere High. They teach us how to use the mixer board. And it's really, once you know how to do it, you figure it out. You know what I mean? But like, I don't know. Me and you me and you pretty much have the same exact job, and I went to school for 7 years, and you didn't go to college, so we're basically at the same level. So
I learned it, and I learned the basics in 2 months.
So I mean, that goes to prove it right there. Like that's how it goes. You know what I mean? The only thing I have is experience over years.
Yeah,
that's about
which
it.
is why you can knock out things a million times faster.
Yeah, but at the same of the day, it's like it's not like you know more than I know. It's like for the most part, we know pretty much the same amount of stuff when it comes to what we have to do. So when you think about it, it's like that should be a poster right there for why college should be not the. I feel like during like I don't know what was it like between like the 1996 to like maybe like 2010, it was really pressed upon for kids to go to college. Like our generation,
yes,
the one before us and like the one directly after us, I think I've been like really, really focused. And when it comes down to it, it's like now we're running out of electricians, we're running out of plumbers, we're running out of people, mechanics, we're running out of like people who we need to do stuff that you and I don't ordinarily know how to do. I'm sure if we taught ourselves we could, but we'd prefer to pay someone to maybe rebuild the transmission on our car and not try it ourselves. You know, although there's nothing a YouTube video can't teach you how to do, I learned. So
even Elon Musk, to work for Tesla, you don't need to have a college degree. Said you just have to pass their like exam, which is probably something you and I could never pass, but that's all you would have to do.
Yeah, but no, it could be like the union test when you go and join like the union or like the civil service test. It's all like logic stuff. It's like ask you questions about like, you know, like if in this situation, what would you do or how would you react? It's more of like a common sense test, if anything like that. But it doesn't require you to sit in class for. I mean, when you think about how many hours I actually stayed in school, like a fraction of like so you figure you go to school when you're in high school, right? You go from like 7 a.m. to like 2, right? So you're there for like six hours a day, say, give or take. So that's like 30 hours a week. I wasn't in college for 30 hours a week. I was probably in college for maybe at max 5 hours a day on the minimum, maybe 1 or 2 hours a day. So in reality, it's probably only about 20 hours a week I was there, give or take. Yeah, because you paid, no, actually less than that, because you pay per credit, and each credit's an hour. And I only took about like 14 credits a semester, so I was only in school for 14 hours a week, but paying $30,000 a year for a fraction of the amount of education that I got in high school. And I can't tell you what I learned. I didn't even learn how to get laid in college. That was a problem. At least if I got that out of the deal. At least if I went to a party school, I could at least justify some of the costs, but I didn't. So it's like, well, that was kind of dull. I don't really
have. You might have failed out, you know.
Probably would have failed out, yeah.
I do want to talk about what's her name, Teska Brown, the Gorilla Glue girl.
She's stupid.
I am captivated by this person's stupidity in using Gorilla Glue to try to keep her hair in place because she ran out of gel. And it stayed that way for not a couple days, a month before going to the hospital. I
think so. From what I understand, she was trying to pull off like a YouTube video. She was trying to go viral with a video or something like that. I thought that's what I read. Like she was like an extremist or something like this. Yeah. But as far as, is this still in her hair at this point?
She's flying to California where a doctor is going to be able to hopefully do it. She's volunteered to do it for free, but her her GoFundMe thing, she was only trying to raise $1,500. So that makes me think, all right, she wasn't going crazy, but she actually ended up getting like 13,000 people donated, which is ridiculous.
For being stupid?
Yeah, like, for being stupid.
Doing something that's clearly not. I mean, the fucking commercial shows a piece of wood being hung from a piece of glass, like, and someone hanging from it. Like, if that shouldn't tell you that you shouldn't put it in your hair, I don't know what does. Like, there's certain things I don't understand what goes through people's minds.
Well, apparently, the Gorilla Glue people said, like, if she had, like, there's something she could have put in her hair, like, over the counter to get rid of it, if it was, like, earlier. But, like, because it's been in there for a month, it's probably already clung to her scalp.
Yeah. That shit's pretty powerful, too. That's what I used to build the trophy for our fantasy football. I to glue the trophy to the wood.
I have my living room, yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that's fucking that shit works great.
But she used the spray. I didn't even know there was a spray.
Yeah, I used to use that when I did when you do like architectural boards and you spray like drawings on like foam board. What you do is you go and you spray the board with this glue, and you have about like well, 20 seconds to get the paper on there. So you lay the paper on the board, and you got to do it just right. Make sure there's no bubbles. Then you got to roll it off, and then you trim off. But like that stuff is like it's like a picture like a hairspray. You know how hairspray gets tacky?
Yeah.
It's like that, but like worse. Like your fingers start sticking together and shit, and you're like, fuck.
Dude, I'm surprised nobody's weaponized that for like Halloween and shit. Like,
yeah, remember like when people used to put Nair in like water and like
yeah, I used to do that Nair and all that shit, but that was like fun stuff. That'd be extreme. I'm surprised I haven't heard of cases where people using Gorilla Glue spray as a weapon. Like, damn.
Well, this broad's now trying to sue Gorilla Glue for not putting hair on the don't put any hair. I guess the technicality, because the person writing the disclaimer was probably like, who'd be stupid enough to put this in their fucking hair?
She better get nothing. I'm gonna be so mad if she gets something for that.
All right, looks like a guest here. We should bring him in right now. Let's see where he's joining us from. Let's see what he's doing. There he is.
Brian Whitaker!
Mr. Whitaker is like a bit. I feel like I'm watching that music video. What was it, Jamiroquai?
Yeah, virtual insanity.
Yeah, virtual insanity. There you are. How you doing?
Hey,
how you doing?
All right. How's this? Is this better? What?
Ooh, that doesn't matter either way. Yeah, widescreen.
All right, cool.
There you
there
go.
we go.
Yeah, man, you can get me in fucking letterbox. Right on.
There you go, everyone. Brian Whitaker here. Where are you joining us from tonight?
L.A. Unfortunately.
Oh wow. Really?
Yeah, dude.
Sun's still out there.
What? I'm getting the fuck out, dude. I mean, like we're moving. I don't know, sometime this year. But I've been living here all my life. By the way, who the fuck are you guys? What are your names?
Oh, I'm Arty, and this would be Adam.
Arty and Adam. Okay.
There you go. Nice and easy.
Boston, huh? Boston.
Yes, yes, sir. Are you
guys Irish?
What was that?
Are you Irish?
Yeah, a little bit. Enough to qualify for a Bostonian.
Yeah. I just found out today that I'm fucking Irish. I didn't know. I thought I was German, but no. I'm like the little guy on the commercial for Ancestry or whatever. 23andMe. Yeah, my wife got that for me for my birthday, I guess, like to make sure that I'm white or some shit. And yeah. And yeah. So I mean, it turns out I thought I was German my whole life, but no, I'm fucking Irish, man.
Well,
it could have been worse. You could have found out your parents really weren't your parents. That would have been even worse, right?
That would have been great. That would have been like, cool. I'm my own guy.
All right.
Anyway,
well,
go ahead.
Welcome to the club. And on the 17th of March is a day that we can celebrate, and you can actually celebrate as the true Irish person. So
absolutely. And I can bitch about how everybody's appropriating my culture for a change.
I agree. That's the way to do it. So you were born and raised in LA or California, at least?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I don't blame you for getting out.
Born and raised.
We going to Texas? We going to Texas or somewhere one of those?
Everybody's going to fucking Texas. I think for us it might be Georgia.
Okay. Yeah.
It might be Atlanta area, something like that. I hear they need more Irish out there. So
it's very little Irish in Atlanta. Trust me.
No. Yeah. a lot of African, very little Irish. So
yeah, it's a whole different.
But I'll bring my percussion. What's up?
At least everyone's Irish out there on St. Patrick's Day, so it's just tough to.
Yeah, everyone's Irish everywhere.
Yeah. I don't blame. Like, if you're being a comedian, I mean, you really don't. With like Zoom and stuff like this these days, you really don't need to be centrally located in like New York or LA anymore, because you can just kind of fly wherever you want to go.
No, and that's a beautiful thing, because I can't speak for New York. I mean, it doesn't look good over the past year, but I mean, fuck LA. I mean, really, and this is somebody who's from there. I mean, really, just enough. I mean, Adam Carolla put it really well. It's like the hot chick from high school who is just used to everyone just, like paying attention all the time. And now she's like, in her late 40s, and she's just like, what, you don't want to stay around here? It's like, no, bitch. Like, no, there's this there's other women here now, no. You aged, you got shitty.
From what I hear, New York people are doing the same exact thing too. It's just.
Yeah. I got a couple buddies who are leaving there. Yeah.
No, it's like, it's not worth it anymore. Like you said, it's the exact same thing. People just got used to this, kind of like mindset that like you had to be either in LA or New York to either establish your comedy or acting, but you don't have to anymore. Like it's so easy to fly somewhere. It's so easy to be like a lot of people doing their like auditions on Zoom, and you can actually have a conversation with people. It's not like just mailing in a fucking like MPEG 4 anymore. Like you can actually have an audition right now from someone who's on the other side of the world. And then you go and figure out where you have to be to film and stuff like this. And half the time they're not even filming in LA or New York anymore. They're going to Toronto.
Well, that's the fucking thing. Yeah.
So
no, Atlanta's kind of like it's the Hollywood of the South, they call it. And, as far as I'm concerned, that's good enough. I mean, because, like I write and everything. And, if somebody, I'm not an actor where like I was ever getting in line to be one. But, if somebody gives me money to fucking play make-believe, I'll do it, But
who wouldn't, right?
What is it about California? What is it about California that makes you want out like that bad right now? Like, what is it?
It's not California. I mean, it's not California, the land itself. That California is fucking beautiful. And I mean, I'm going to miss being by the ocean and everything. It's the government right now, how it's being run, how everything is, it's really like, I don't know. I'm not a big government kind of guy. I mean, like, by day, like I'm a carpet cleaner. I fucking, I run my own shit, and I don't have any employees. I do my own thing. And that's the only thing that I think I can handle doing. I mean, I've always been into just, like stuff where I only rely on me, like only sport I was ever halfway decent at was boxing. For getting into comedy, it's like you can't rely on anybody else. You're not part of an improv troupe or anything like that. It's just you. And I hate what they're doing to people who they have to rely on government to stay open or not. And it's been sad to watch. And I'm happy I'm not one of them. I mean, I feel bad, but a lot of people are at the government's mercy, and they've done what they did, man. They've done their number, and it's just time to tell them to fuck off. Just be like, no, I'm not paying you taxes anymore. I'll try someplace else.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's fucking bullshit.
Not that I pay taxes or anything. I'm just saying, if I did. Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing. I don't blame you 100%. I don't blame you at all. I agree with you 100%. It's like you go there and you just kind of into this mindset of California, everything's the way it's supposed to be, and it's like, why do I pay these taxes when I can go live in, somewhere that's cheaper to live? I mean, like Tennessee, like a lot of people go to Florida or Tennessee. No, there's no state income tax, right? So everything you make, you keep, you just give it to the feds, And California, you just get used to the weather. I guess Georgia's not too far off from California weather. I mean,
I've heard it's nice. I mean, who knows if that'll be it, but we're looking and we're committed. I mean, definitely going to be out of here this year. Because I mean, say what?
I was saying, I don't blame you. From what I read in the news, it looks like it's a fucking war zone.
Dude, no, I mean, like it was heartbreaking to me. Like last year, I mean, when I found out that LA was rioting, I mean, like I got nothing against. I don't care what the fuck you're protesting. To be honest, I mean, like I think protest is American as hell. I mean, like just protest whatever the hell you don't agree with. Good for you. And as far as breaking the social distancing or whatever, I'm not one who's going to bitch about that. But when the rioting happened, that was heartbreaking. I mean, I was just like, because I was here for 92 and just watched, like the whole damn, the sun was blocked out. There was so much smoke, and a lot of shit went kind of unreported. I mean, like they tally up the numbers and all that, as far as like who got killed, who got injured, blah blah blah. But like when you see it and when you know somebody who knows somebody or whatever, like just all the people who got pulled out of their cars and just killed. That's the kind of shit that, I mean, when people defend rioting is like, oh, the language of the unheard. It's like, I was just like, I hope you go to jail and get butt fucked, and that your butt fuckist explains to you that he's just speaking the language of the unlaid. It's like, what do you expect? Like I'm just, after a while, people are just it's like, go fuck yourself. You're burning down somebody's way to feed their family. And then doing shit like shit, Atlanta. I mean, I hate it. It was in Atlanta that they murdered an 8-year-old girl. I mean, that's the kind of shit that happens. And when that hit my neighborhood last year, I was like, all right, I'm out. I was like, I was fortunate enough to have my stepmom and my dad in a nice part of LA where just they're just renting a house out by the coast where that just wasn't an issue. And I was checking Twitter, and it was just nothing that day but my neighborhood, and then hashtag burn it down and blah, blah, blah. And so I got my wife and kid out of there for the night, and we just stayed there. And then we came back, and then, a lot of places, that were boarded up, got taken. And I don't think anybody got hurt here. like in my particular neck of the woods. That was nice to hear. But yeah, it was just the fact that it was an option, that it was like, all right, I either got to get out of here, get my family out, get my stupid crippled dog out of here and all that, or some little, fucking white kid dressed up like a ninja thinking he's in Les Miserables is going to throw a Molotov cocktail and I'm going to shoot him. I mean, like,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, Jesus, yeah, I mean, I was just going to sit on the porch with a shotgun and just stay up all night. And I was just like, all right, it's that, or I can get out of here. And it's like, just, fuck it, I'm done. Just go someplace where people are a little bit more okay with, if I were to say shoot a little white kid dressed up like a ninja approaching my porch. I mean, it's like, oh yeah, well, he was on your property. It's like, yeah. It's just, he had the ninja costume and everything. He looked very scary. So
that's the one thing about one thing about Boston is when all that shit was going down, they had like, I think, one night of riot in downtown, and it was like, the thing with people in Boston is a lot of people live here and been here forever, and they kind of respect the neighborhoods, and black, white, doesn't really matter. Everyone's fucking friends, you know what I mean? So when you see these little punks come from out of town into the city to start destruction, that shit didn't settle well. I think there was one night they broke into a liquor store of a guy who was connected to the mob. So those people probably already dead, and they probably went missing. They set a cop car on fire. With, big whoop. Okay, that's great. Other than that, it was pretty like
broken windows. And nothing like.
Yeah, that's funny. I didn't hear anything about Boston through all that. It became like I couldn't keep track after a while, and I just didn't. It's like, oh, Philly's burning down. Oh, Atlanta's burning down. Oh, blah blah. And I didn't even think of that. Like, Boston. I didn't hear much from Boston, so that's.
Yeah, you don't.
Sorry, cheers with water. I'm an asshole.
It's all right, man.
I mean, that was the thing. It's like some of those towns. It's like, you don't want to screw with people's well-being. Everyone knows each other. Everyone respects people. You know what I mean? It's like, and like a lot of times in these cities, it's not the people that live there either. It's these idiots coming from outside coming to cause trouble for the most part.
Yeah,
yeah,
just like LA. It's not the people here that give it a bad name. It's all the pieces of shit that come from everywhere and just would suck anyone's fucking dick and kill anyone's children to get their face on a billboard.
Yeah. And the problem is, like, LA and New York are a big, giant, like, cesspool for fucking people just to go there. And you're like, just get the fuck out of here. Like, who the hell are you guys? Like, for everything, not just rioting, for just, like, life in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Good. Yeah, no, what was it? I can't remember I think I heard it on that show, The Shield, a while back, and I looked it up, and it's true. But, like, I think, like, 90% of all serial killers in America ever have at one point lived in LA. It's like yeah, you want to be famous, you're a piece of shit. It's like there's not that much, I don't need to hear about your childhood or anything like that. You're that kind of piece of shit. You want to be famous. So,
look at fucking Manson. Manson was he was a field musician that just went fucking crazy. So
exactly. Fuck you, you loser. It's like, I mean, and apparently he was a pretty smart guy too. I talked to a guy who was in Quentin with him at one point. And he said he was known as a really good chess player.
Okay.
Like, but it's like, that's what you did with your brains. I guess you got famous, whatever.
Everyone knows.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing comedy for? We've watched a couple of your videos. We're very entertained by some of this stuff.
Love your determination to stick up for a friend and punch a guy in the nuts, and fight a guy at a bar. That was the anime.
Oh yeah. I got dragged into that one, dude. That was funny. They made that Uriah favor. I was just at that bar that night. Not in the story, but I mean, for anyone who hasn't seen it, I guess, so whatever. So I was at a bar with a friend in LA, and he was drunk and he bumped into a dude, and it was just the typical, like stepped on my shoes bullshit, where it's like, oh god damn it, another guy with no father gonna start some shit. But he just flat out would not let my friend out of the equation. I was like, all right, dude, just let's you and me. I mean, like he was way bigger than me, and I was like, fuck it. I was like, well, I mean, it was just.
He must have been a good friend.
It's a fucking bro. Yeah, it's a bro thing. It's like, all right, you couldn't handle yourself tomorrow. You're gonna hear about this, and how you got me in trouble. But yeah, at the end of the fight, I ended it by fucking just basically getting the guy in the nuts over and over and over, because that seemed to be working, and he was bigger than me. Fuck him. And
works.
and I didn't want to tell that story But I was at that bar that night where Uriah Faber was doing those fight stories things. And my buddy Daryl, who was like number 2 on those fight stories, he was a comic who was working with Fox at the time, who, you know, like UFC Fox who was doing it. And he's all, B, you got to tell a story, dude, and all that, because he just, you know, knew me as just whatever. You know, I had my little scratch. I was working security at the time at the Hollywood Improv, and that's how he and I met. And I was just known as, you know, that dickhead Wyatt Earpish style bouncer, whatever, at the Improv, where, you know, they brought me into, I don't know, clean shit up or something, like Dolphin style or something. But I mean, but he's like, you got to tell one of your stories, man. You got to tell one of your fight stories. And well, no. And I was just like, no, because I don't like that. I don't like the whole culture of glamorizing fighting. And, you know, that was 2013. So it was still kind of like the first 5 years of just how fucking douchey MMA fans were, you know, and UFC fans. I mean, where they still had the fucking bedazzled tap out shit and the dragons and all that all over, and the Ed Hardy and everything. And I was just like, I don't want to feed this culture. This is stupid. And he's all playing, just tell a story, like, you know, where it doesn't, you know. And I was thinking, I was like, okay, I could tell the story of when I thought a guy was texting in a theater and not listening to me. So I went and swatted his phone out of his hand and started shit with him. And it turned out he was deaf, and that it was a hearing device that he was like reading the lines of the movie off. So yeah, because that makes me look bad, and that makes you see you're not supposed to start shit with people, and you're not supposed to fight. It's bad. But I was like, all right, maybe not that one, or because I ran up to the producers and all, don't fucking tell that story. So I was like, all right, I got another one where it doesn't make me look like some big cool guy. I'm just like, I won, but I won defending a friend's, you know, safety or whatever, but still, it was like I punched him in the nuts. And Uriah thought it was funny, and it was a fun little time, whatever, you know, got to do it. And then when it went online, I remember I think I checked it like a few months after it went up, because I didn't even know it had gone up. And then I checked it out, and there was a lot of, as anything that you put online, there's a lot of like, oh, this is hilarious, this guy tells a story and all that. Then there's a whole bunch of just fucking douchey bastard, just like, oh, you never punch a guy in the nuts, bro. That's fucking bullshit. Like, you're a fag, you know, like fucking, you never do that shit in a fight. And all that. I'm like, you've never been in a fight, have you? I'm just like, dude, no. What you do in a fight is you win, or your head gets put onto the fucking pavement, and it really fucking hurts, dude. So I mean, I don't know. You're thinking about your little padding in your octagon or whatever the hell you're talking about at your little gym. I mean, I'm talking about, this was in an alley, and this guy would have fucking killed me. I mean, yes, I punched him in the nuts, and I hope he's dead. I hope his nuts bled and fucking just internal bleeding made them swell up, and he called his mom and cried. And then his nuts killed him.
He's a fucking.
I mean, I agree with you 100%. Like, it's not like it's a controlled environment. Like, you don't know if that person has a knife or anything like that. Like, anything can go. Fuck that. You know, he
didn't have a knife. I just, you know, the one part of the story
doesn't matter.
I felt bad. There was one part of that story that was it was a lie, which was that and it ended up making me look even douchier than I had to. But when I punched him in the nose afterward, and his nose blew up, you know, yes, of course that's happened, where you punch someone in the nose and their nose splatters all over the place, and like just if they're a bleeder, the blood comes out all over the place. But that didn't happen. I just punched him in the nuts enough to where he was just basically like, no, stop. Like, he's like, fucking man, fuck it, we're good and all that. And he was just on the ground, and it was enough. But I remember thinking back to, I wish I had punched him in the face, because his nuts, he's not going to go around showing everybody his nuts the next day. Yeah. But if I had fucked up his nose, then people would ask like, oh, what happened? And he'd have to tell the story of how he was a bully and a piece of shit. And some little guy just fucked him up, you know. And
it's a great story. It's a one.
I could tell you. I remember when I was younger, I was kicked in the nuts by a 5-year-old, and I was pissing blood for a day or two, a little bit of blood in there. So for you to actually fucking hammer somebody in the dick, I can guarantee for about a week or two, he was probably pissing some blood.
It's a happy thought, you know. It's a happy thought, but I mean, no one, I think maybe he could have called into work the next day and put some ice on his nuts, and no one ever had to hear that story, but whoever heard it from me. So
I'm going to show that video to my son, and I'm going to teach him This is why you don't be a dickhead at a bar, because someday you're gonna be a dickhead to the bar and you're gonna get your nuts pounded in. So take your word, don't be an asshole. It's just don't be an asshole, you know.
Like
That guy,
even the little guy like might be able to fucking reach your nuts
never
somehow,
know.
and
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? But
fucked up, but awesome at the same.
Whatever. I got a lot of fucking embarrassing videos out there, and they're very scattered. So I don't know what you guys have seen, but I've been doing it since. It's hard with me, man, because I mean, like I've been so in and out of the game sometimes that it's hard to say like when I should claim to have started. First time I went on stage was like 2006, but then didn't really get into it until 2008, and was in the game for I'd say till like 2013. I moved out to the beach area. I was with the gal who I ended up marrying, and we went out to the beach because we were just so sick of just living in Hollywood and just I don't know. I mean, like it was just I'd been in Hollywood 8 years, and it was like, all right, enough. I want to be at the beach before I fucking kick off this planet. So we lived at the beach for like 5 years, and it was actually it was very bad for the career. But yeah, I feel like I kind of ducked out there, and then I put out like an hour, or technically 45 minutes, like just indie little special out there like in 2017. And then I got I haven't done. I was starting to produce a show. We had one show in the bag last March out here in LA, because we left the beach, and now I live out in like more Hollywood / Valley area, and had a show that went really well, really cool bar, Ventura Boulevard, and then like the next 2 weeks it was about to be a monthly thing, and then COVID happened. And so I haven't like done a show in almost a year. And of all the shit that went down like over that year, I mean, I just got loaded with material, and I'm jonesing here to where like there's so much of it. I might just put out my next hour just online for free, just to get it out there, just to get it off my chest.
Have you tried any like virtual shows? I did a couple right when everything happened, like around April, May. I fucking hated it. Because I like to work the crowd. I like a crowd. I like to work off of them, work off their emotion, see how it goes.
Yeah.
And I was just doing it like I'm doing it right here, talking to you, looking into my camera with no one around, and my wife looking at me in the doorway like I'm a fucking retard, like doing these things, and I'm like sitting here. I'm like, I'm trying to work the crowd here. Then I'm getting the red light on the fucking screen. I'm like, I don't even know what my time is. Like I can't keep track of anything at this point. I was out on my own.
Yeah.
He did it.
Yeah, man. No, I mean, this is cool. I mean, just doing these types of things, doing podcasts and all that. But I mean, but with the thing where there's like a bunch of little screens on the phone and all that, I mean, it's just a whole different. I guess I would do one, but I called my guys who I had lined up for the next show after we did the first one, the Ventura Boulevard one, and just asked them like, people are doing these virtual shows, would you want to do it that way? And all of them were just kind of like, like, no, bro. I mean, these are like established guys too, who were just, they were stoked I'd move back to town, and we're just doing it as a favor for me and all that. And I mean, that's why like the first one I was able to get like guys who they'd seen on Showtime, Comedy Central, whatnot, and everything, and it was like a real show for free. And it was I'm just like saying it for the first time now, getting all sad, like fuck, it's like it was a real show, man. Like I had something going, but yeah, they were all just kind of like, I mean. No, man, not really. I mean, like, I just, it's like, I feel they're like, I'd be self-conscious. I was like, yeah, I think I would too. Just like kind of waiting to see if you have a reaction.
Well, that's it. It's delayed.
Otherwise it looks like, you look like you're doing a monologue or something if you're not playing off the audience at all. I mean,
you look like you're doing like an kind of video in your basement. That's basically what it looks like. You're sitting there like you're having a sociopathic episode, sitting there talking to yourself. It's kind of like when you like, I don't know, when you're in the green room before you do a show, and you're kind of just working with, you have your headphones on, you're working material out, and you're not really saying it, but you kind of go into the motions, your mind's kind of flowing. And then when you get out there, the energy from the crowd, and you're working off the energy. There's no energy off a fucking TV screen. It's like, I don't know. It's just like you sit there and it's just like, I'm like, I don't know if my jokes are hitting. I don't know if I'm like swinging and missing here. Like I need stuff here, it's like it's tough.
There was that was the one thing that I did do kind of like that was like the the thing that I put out back in 2017. We actually shot it in 2015. But my special, and I always say that in quotes now and all that, because I mean, like, at the time I thought I had this cool novel idea, like, all right, so I mean, like, the next step for me is basically I try to audition for a Comedy Central half hour where, you know, for $10,000, you know, they're going to own all those jokes from now on and blah, blah, blah. Never really seen any of my friends who did one of those things really have their career skyrocket off their half hour on Comedy Central. Or I could just fucking say, fuck it. Like, just play it off like I'm some famous dude and just shoot in some big ass awesome theater. And just basically my buddy, my best man at my wedding and everything, like, he's an editor. And I just presented to him. I was like, dude, what if we did it? Like, what if I got us a really cool theater and we just did this shit and faked it and just did a laugh track and everything. And then at the end we reveal that we've been playing to nobody. And like, and we'll just have the microphone drop like the tree falling in the forest and everything. And it's just like this pathetic piece of shit. And you show me going back to my waiter job that I was working at the time and everything, instead of the dressing room, like where at the end of most specials I've seen, you know, like, you know, the comic goes back in the dressing room, like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm just, you know, going to chill now. And that'll just show me going to my stupid job and everything. And we just put it out total indie, and I'll see where I can get it out. And by the time it was edited, it was like a year and a half later. And because he was just doing this as a favor to me, so he was working my shit in between jobs. And by then every dickhead in the world had filmed an indie special, and they were all over Amazon and everything. And I was just like, fuck, man, like, I'm fucking a year and a half late to the picnic here. I thought I had this cool idea, but yeah, that was the deal. I went to my old neighborhood, and they were just cool with letting me have the theater for no money. Basically, it was a big, beautiful theater. And like a 1,500 seater theater, and it's, you know, had all this history behind it and everything. And I was able to shoot there, but with like absolutely no audience, where we just faked the shit. And then there was a buddy of mine there who just like gave me a high five in one scene, like just to make it look like somebody was in the front going, oh man, like I did a, you know, black joke, and then it showed like, you know, a black guy going, you know, like, hey, well, this is just like a perfect little fucking deal. But yeah, that was so weird to be, because we never did a rehearsal or anything. We just went there. And then it was just my three friends, like with three cameras, and then a handful of other guys who were like doing sound or whatever. And I'm just playing to this big empty ass theater with nobody to play off, and just trying to pause the right amount of time for what I'm used to having to pause after like certain jokes. Because I mean, like, I've told them enough to know, like, all right, that one hits like, and that one hits usually pretty hard. And this one I'm just going to skip over. But I had to do that. And then like the math of, okay, let's pretend like all these seats are filled in this 1,500 person theater. So maybe I got to pause a little longer now. Maybe I got to pause a little. I don't know. But I mean, it was fucking awkward, just like having nobody to play off, you know? So I'd imagine that's kind of what it's like, you know?
It is. But I watched the trailer, and I thought there were people there. So it convinced me. I was watching. I was like,
good, man. No, yeah, no. I'm spoiling the surprise now, because I mean, you know, it's one of those old movies where if you don't know the ending, that's the big M. Night Shyamalan ending, fucking comedy special. But yeah, no, it's all laugh tracked, and that's at least one cool thing on the Amazon reviews so far that I've seen. Like, by now, like, I'm embarrassed by it practically. Like, I leave it up there because I still don't lose money having it up there. So as long as I'm not losing money having it up there, I'm like, people are watching me even while I'm not doing it right now. But I know that it was weird, like having no one there. I caught myself when I was looking at it, like I was kind of behaving like I thought a comic had to behave while on stage, just maybe a little bit more energetic than my usual would be, and a little bit more like, you know, pumped, like there's so many people around or something. Whereas, next thing I do, I don't know how I'll do it. I mean, like, because I'm just going to get creative. That's what, you know, COVID's had to do to everybody. So I'm just going to get creative, because there's not even a dive bar that I could shoot an hour in right now, you know, in LA. You know, but they got some patio shows that are just starting right now that I'm going to get in on. Hopefully doing Comedy Store down in San Diego pretty soon, because they got the outside thing going. But yeah, no, I mean, all right, I fucking ramble because I lost my train of thought.
Your Amazon.
Oh yeah, the Amazon.
It's got 4 out of 5. I mean, stars.
Well,
that's really good.
What's cool about the reviews? Thanks for bringing me back to what the hell I was thinking. I noticed like a couple of them, I was like, oh, that's a friend of mine. That's nice of him. He did a review and all that. But most of them, it's like, I've never met this asshole. I even like checked there because, you get all self-conscious. Like, you're like, oh, come on, Mom, is that you or whatever? But, I check and it's like, oh, cool, awesome. These are real people. So it's like everyone seems to think it's 5 stars or 1 star. Mm-hmm. Like, and the 1 stars are all like, this is laugh track. This is bullshit. This is fucking bullshit laugh track and all that. So I'm like, I wasn't trying to fool you, dickhead. Like, I mean, I was, but not in the long run. Just, Those
are people who they don't watch the whole video through. Because Adam and I.
Yeah, well, I mean, if the material sucks, then don't watch the whole video through. Yeah. But I mean, if you're just gonna shit on the production value,
it's not worth it. Those are the worst.
It looks better than some shit out there, but
apparently, according to Michael Guru, this guy wants to be important.
Yeah, I read that one. Yeah,
that's what he's saying. Like,
but like, who doesn't want to be
important? Michael Guru.
Yeah.
Where the fuck are you? Are you listening to this? Are you stalking me right now, Michael Guru?
Michael Gru's best of you. He's like falling.
God damn it. It's a funny thing. A guy that I listen to sometimes, he pointed out where like online haters, if you're lucky enough to get far enough to have online haters ever, it's like you take it personally when you first see them, and you totally forget that it's probably a fucking 12-year-old.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like you got a 12-year-old just going through every comedian on Amazon and just shitting on him, just being like, I watched 3 minutes. This guy's a fag, and it's like, oh man, I
fucking kid
taking it like it's a real person, but it's like this 12-year-old where it's like, this guy wants to be important.
Oh, sorry, you had Arty. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, like, I had trolls like that too before. I did the same exact thing. I looked up and like on a YouTube video, he's just shitting on every video. I'm like, who the fuck is this motherfucker?
Yeah.
And I look at his account, and it's like a fucking he's like a tween sitting there in his fucking mom's house, sitting there in his bedroom late at night, just shitting on everything because his life sucks. And I'm like, well, you know what? You can't make everyone happy, I guess.
No, hell no. And I mean, like, and that's the point is like, you shouldn't really try.
Shouldn't.
Like, I mean, that's something that that hits you hard, like at a certain point where it's like, Jesus Christ, like, I can't believe I ever said anything on stage that wasn't flat out from the heart. I can't believe that I ever fucking it for a second was like, oh, people seem to like that kind of thing, so I think I'll do that. Like, no, don't fucking do that. That's you trying to be something else. That's not you. Like, you got a few decades on the earth if you're lucky, so I mean, do you, man. I mean, it's okay if it doesn't. It's okay if it's, I mean, like, just don't get out there to try to please people. Don't get out there to try to shit on them or piss them off. I mean, but if you offend someone just by being you, that's their problem.
It's like a rock band decided he was going to do country because that's the hip thing. It's like, you're a fucking hardcore rock band. Why are you fucking?
Yeah. How many bands? How many musical artists have we seen just fuck themselves up trying to do what they think people are, or doing what their record execs tell them to do or whatnot. I mean, and with comedy, I mean, like, it's got to be pure, dude. I mean, I don't know. I get on the soapbox about that shit. I mean, like, comedy's like the closest thing to back in the day, like, just some dude telling a story to people around a campfire, before there was even writing. I mean, like, comedy is like that's the oldest fucking art form there is. It's still out there, really. So if we can't gather around the campfire and we got to do it online or whatever, okay, but it's still got to come from the heart, like it's got to be real storytelling. It's got to be something from you. And that's what makes it easier, like, for when people bitch about, like, getting stolen from. I don't think I've ever had, I mean, like, I've had some shit stolen before, but nothing that I was like planning on using again anyway. Where I was just like, all right, now I know you. Now you're a little joke thief. I'll put the word out, but yeah, I mean. But yeah, it's like, I wasn't going to use that because that's it's a stealable joke. It's a run of the mill. How long have you guys been doing it?
I've been doing it for about a little less than 10 years at this point.
Okay, cool.
I started hosting the radio. We were in an online radio show for years. I've been doing this podcast for since 2002. One form or another. Then we went on online radio, and I was with my buddy who did the show prior, Kid Eric. That he did stand up comedy when I met him. So he got me into the kind of the the gist of it. And then we met Adam along the way, who was more of a writer. He was more of like the back of the house guy, you know, that kind of worked with all of us and stuff. But and especially in Boston too, man. It's like you see, it's like, I don't know if you've heard Will Noonan. He's a Boston guy. He's doing some stuff now that's kind of, you know,
I think I've heard the name. I'll look him up.
Yeah, he's a funny guy, and he did our podcast multiple times back when we were just some shitty fucking online radio station downtown Boston. Everyone just smoking weed and drinking and just doing pretty much this, except we're in the same room with people and stuff. And Sam J, she was another one. She did a show a couple times. Now she writes for Saturday Night Live. So all these people along the way kind of made their ways and stuff, and it's kind of cool to see them do stuff. And then there's other people who just like, yeah, I did comedy for a few years. Now I'm a lawyer. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, it's
cool. Yeah, more power to them. I mean, you know, shit. I've always told like my wife and everything, like, you know, I'm told a few people who care about me were just like, I wouldn't do this if I didn't have to. Like, I swear to God. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, you know, I'm like I said, you know, I'm very grateful to be able to have my own little, like one person business and all that during the day, and, you know, and be able to rely on that. It's just a regular thing to do. And then whatever money comes through writing or comedy, like last year was the first year that I made more money writing than I did off carpet cleaning. It's like, you know, I mean, shit, you know, like just, it's a crapshoot, but I mean, I do the writing and I do the comedy and all that because I have to. I mean, like, because like, even if nobody's going to hire me to do shit, there are certain ideas and there's certain stories I want to tell and whatnot and all that, where it's like, well, I got to put this down there because I have to read the ending. Like, I have to hear this joke, you know, like from my device, even if I'm the only one ever watching the show. I mean, you know,
no, it's true.
So,
I don't know. It's a passion too. I guess a little bit inside you still enjoys doing it though, right? Because otherwise you would have probably figured out something else to do too.
Oh, hell no, I love doing it, dude. No, I love doing it. I mean, no, absolutely. I mean, like, I'm always happy to do a show. And I'm always, just like I'm always writing something, whether I want to or not, you know.
Can't get rid of it. It's an addiction,
but
right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
I don't think it's an addiction. I think it's like, you know, you just, the genetics, man. I mean, it's pretty much, it is what it is. You are what you are. And, I mean,
now that you're Irish now, they get a little more credibility too, and you do like some heavy.
Yeah, I can pretend I'm pressed and everything, you know. Yeah, like,
you gotta get yourself a Skelly cap, and you go up stage with you know, a shot of Jameson or a Guinness, and it's a go.
I'm not gonna be that son of a bitch. There are too many. There's just too many. I even in my thing that in my last in my special this joke that I was so happy to get rid of. I had to tell it and just put it on, because like once you put it like out there, I feel like, you know, like once you put it in like at 45 minutes or an hour, or even a half hour, whatever, just like a set like that you put out there, that's it. You don't do it again. You don't do it on stage unless absolutely nobody could have possibly heard about, you know, it or you in the room. But it was a joke of me shitting on the Irish, and not just the Irish though, just like white guys in America who pretend to be fucking Irish. And it's a thing. It's the closest thing we can do, because like you can say you're oppressed because you're a Jew, but it's like everyone behind your back is just like a fucking Jew, you know. Like, it's not like you fucking whiner, you know, like shut up and all that. But I mean, if you can pull the Irish card somehow, then it's like, oh yeah, he's like the other oppressed white, you know, like, so it's kind of cool that I guess he's got that background. There's a lot of drinkers in his family, probably. Makes a lot of sense. It does put a lot of shit together for me. Because shit, my mom, my brother, and my sister, they're in the program. I mean, and wow. I just got out of it somehow. And and it turns out it's fucking genetics. Just like, just flat out.
Jesus.
Yeah, that and me, you know, having to get into situations where I punch people in the nuts and all that. It sounds pretty Irish,
right there.
You know? Yeah. But yeah, dude. No, I mean, shit. I don't want to be that. I'm never gonna play that shit. Yeah, I'm Irish, so this and that, and I'm Irish. You know, I'm so and so, so I'm this way. I mean, I can't stand that. It's gotten so much worse too. You know, I mean, fuck, like.
Maybe it just needs to grow on you because you just found out you are. So maybe it's just going to take a while. You know?
That's true. Maybe right now I'm just a little bit ashamed. It's like, oh, I'm fucking Irish. Fuck. You know, like I thought I was German. I thought I was the master race. You know, fuck. Man. Turns out I'm a slave. You know, like, oh well. But
oh shit, it is what it is. I was disappointed.
Like, not even allowed to say I'm a slave and piss off fucking, you know, the other kinds of slaves.
Go for it.
But
fuck.
No.
Man, it was so. Where can people go and find your stuff? So you're on Amazon. Do you have a website that we can search?
Yeah. You know, actually, the website was funny. I'm so great at online presence. I didn't touch my website for so long that one day I checked on it and it was just gone. And I don't know what happened, but it was just gone, and it's just not up anymore. So I got to start a new website. I got off Facebook because of how sick watching comics eat each other alive made me last year.
Miserable, fucking terrible.
Just any comic who doesn't believe in freedom of speech, no matter what the fuck the comic is saying, suck a dick in hell. And I hope you get AIDS in hell from the dick that you suck in hell. And I hope it's like early 80s AIDS and not like
Freddie Mercury.
Magic Johnson. Like I hope it's like the old shit, you know, like the greatest hits from back in the day.
Like the dad from Brady Bunch. Robert Reed.
Yeah, like fucking like Tommy Morrison, like you're on top of the world and then you just rot alive to AIDS. That's what I wish on you, all comedians who do not stand up for other comedians with freedom of speech. And if I dropped a few comedians off my Facebook page first, like when Ari Shaffir was taking shit for bashing Kobe, and there was a comic on there, he said some shit like, "You don't yell fire in the theater." I'm like, "Fuck you! I just pressed a button, and I'm never seeing you again for the rest of my life or talking to you." Just but that, and then you know how political last year got and everything. You know, just it was like. It was rough because I mean, like in 2016, I got to say, like I was just like, oh my god, you know, like there's a reality, you know, show host for whatever the fuck. There's a reality TV star for president. Like I can't believe I'm living in this world and all that. And then you just learn. And I'm not gonna say that like you know I fucking you know I'm gonna get political about this or anything. But I mean like just the fact that you can start off thinking like, how could anyone vote that way? You must be retarded. You must be racist. You know, like whatever and all that. And then not even change your political views per se, but fucking just get to know people who did that and realize over the course of 4 years, I was the opposite. I was like, this is so fucking stupid that we're calling half of the country like racist and retarded and whatever and all that, or just, you know, misinformed by, you know, some fucking cult leader or something like that. It's like, you're not spending 5 minutes with these people that you're talking shit on, are you? Like, I mean, especially as a comedian, it's like you got to know people, man. I mean, like, and you got to keep up with people. You can't just dismiss half the goddamn country. And
it's true.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't listen to it anymore on Facebook. Just constant comedians going like, I don't even want, even if I become famous one day, I don't want, you know, like them as fans. And it's just, and then I mean, it goes up the ladder, you know, like Eminem and what the fuck, Jason Momoa is saying shit like that too. Like any Trump fans are just fucking drop me. It's like, you're, you know, just go back, go make your little rhymes and go pretend you're fucking, you know, whatever. And, you know, you go get back into your fucking costume and play make believe and just.
It's so true though, because
shut up. You know,
I mean, we've had guests over for like the last 10 to 15 years and they came on the show and politics never ever came up. We had occasionally once or twice, like a very feminist, we had 3 people walk out of the show. 2 are very feminist, like, you know, we were making some, you know, some dick jokes and stuff. They got offended. They left. And then another guy got offended because we were playing a game of was the sexual positions and stuff. And he got very, you know, he's like, I'll come back and play guitar when you guys need me. But it was never anything ever political. It was like you never had a conversation about something like we would touch upon it, but it was never like something that. And I have no idea what their political views were. For all I know, they were hardcore liberals or hardcore conservatives. I don't fucking care. They were entertaining people. And like when you take that away, when you start talking to people and stuff like that, and you like take out the whole religious or the whole political thing out of it, like you really don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? At the same time, there's good people to talk to. You know what I mean? It's like the people that take it to the extreme are just like so unbearable. It's like, it doesn't have to be this way. You know what I mean? People just want to just chill and have a good time and stuff. I'm like, I don't really give a fuck what you your political views.
I wish both sides of the aisle could just dismiss the crazies, on their side openly, and just, but it seems like honestly, I only see one side doing that right now. I hope it changes. I only see, I mean, like they're trying to paint a picture like, all the people on one side, like, I don't know, supported or would have like stormed the Capitol or some shit. But I mean, like, I don't know anyone, like who's on that side who doesn't think that was the dumbest goddamn thing they ever seen in their life.
Absolutely.
I mean, and on the other side, it's like, well, it's the voice of the unheard, like rioting and, Antifa means anti-fascist. Or it's like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, I could start a club that says I don't fuck kids and then do anything I want, basically. And that means you fuck kids if you don't agree with anything I'm doing over it. Like, because
Brian, it's called the Catholic Church. The Catholic
Church. No, the Boy Scouts too.
Well, now that you're Irish, you can relate to Boston.
Fuckers got a whole bunch of Oh God, yeah. Damn it. God damn it.
another.
We're slaves. We're kid fuckers. We're alcoholics. I guess we wrote some books though. Yeah. I mean, there's some.
Yeah. I mean, the food's
James
not
Joyce.
there, but you guys like to drink.
The food sucks too. Yes, I know Irish food sucks. That's the funny thing is, like, now that I'm a different kind of European or white or whatever, I'm just like a completely different than I thought I was. I still want to make fun of everyone I was making fun of before, just the same. And it doesn't change a goddamn thing. Like, I really don't give a shit if I have a relative who died in the potato famine or something like that. Like, I'm going to shit on Irish people still, for stupid behavior, just like I would shit on anybody for stupid fucking behavior.
And they would agree with it too. I don't think they would disagree at all, because the Irish people are very self-deprecating people. They they know what their flaws are. So
I'm gonna have to learn more about us. Yeah, because I'm definitely I'm like, what was it? I was like 73%, man. Like, that's a lot of fucking Irish, dude. For a guy who thought he was German, I mean, that's pretty hardcore.
Once this bullshit's over, you can either make it up to Boston, and we'll take you to Southie. Come meet up with us. We'll take you real with the Irish live.
To your people.
Love to, man. Love to. My one time
do some dive bars and some really sketchy people. And you feel right.
My people.
Your people.
My people. Yeah. I remember, I swear to God, like when I was like 18 or 19 or whatever, when Good Will Hunting came out, I was just a poor kid in LA, and I was watching this movie, and I didn't know about this shit, but I didn't know about Boston. I was just like, there's a fucking poor neighborhood in America for white people? I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like, where is this? I have to go. I mean, like, and it was just, and then all of a sudden you got this big avalanche of goddamn Irish, Boston movies. And after a while, it's like, it got so ridiculous. Like, there's like, fucking Boston, and we're living in the projects, and we're killing each other. And after a while, I'm just like, dude, you live in a white neighborhood, get your shit together. I mean, not a big deal, man. Fucking pull your bootstraps up. Now I can say that. Now I can be the pre-rapist Bill Cosby for the Irish. Fucking pull up your bootstraps, get your shit together.
Well, man, thank you very much for joining us tonight, all the way on the West Coast. Brian Whitaker, search him online. If you go to Google, it's either you or some old guy that pops up. You notice that, right?
This fucking guy who's
he looks like swanky. He's got blue eyes.
There's a young black model named Brian Whitaker, and if he ever does one goddamn open mic, I'm gonna have to change my name. That's fucking really fair. But then there's an old white guy who does he does books about the Middle East and whatnot, and I always get like, I keep my Twitter handle is just, I'm never on Twitter ever. So don't visit me on Twitter or whatever, but I keep Brian Whitaker as my handle because I got it before he did. And I'm still banking one day Brian Whitaker, the author. So I'm thinking maybe one day he'll offer me like money, because like, dude, that's my name. And I'll just be like, how much are we talking here then for you to get your name back? But I don't know, you can check out my special on Prime Video. It's free if you got Prime. Cool. And otherwise, I'll keep you guys posted, man. I'll put something new out this year. I'm gonna put out a new hour, I think, somehow.
Yeah, when you finally go on the road, let us know. If you come up to Boston, we'll love to hang out here and take you around and
absolutely,
see you live, dude. So Stay in
It was
touch.
good hanging with you guys, man. All right,
Cool,
thanks, dude.
Have a good night, man.
Hang
See you later.
Have a good night.
You too. Ooh.
All right, Brian Whitaker, all the way from the West Coast, or left coast, as they say back in the day. He was a funny guy.
He was a good guy. Yeah.
He needs to have a situation now that he's Irish. Now it's like a whole learning a whole new realm of how to behave. You know,
He just opened up the floodgates right there for himself.
well, what he did was he bought himself so many more opportunities to make jokes, and he bought himself so many more excuses that when shit goes wrong, he'd be like, well, I'm just Irish. You know what I mean? That's like, I'm only like 12%. And I thought it was a lot more than that. Then when I got my ancestry.com, whatever like that, and I realized like, oh God, my fucking relatives, they're only 12%. Like you would think you were a lot more, because my great grandmother had the O'Brien last name. She had an Irish last name. So I was like, oh, all right. So that you would think, but it just like the Italian in me. The Italian was diluted over the years too. So it's like, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
I'm mostly just white. I'm a white guy that came over the Mayflower. That's all I am, you know?
Dig the new background.
Yeah, I noticed that. I didn't want to say anything, but I was just kind of observing your background changes as the show went on.
I didn't realize that was happening until I was like, oh shit, that's happening during the show. Fuck, right? And then I realized the reason why I couldn't get it to work well was because the little stupid box that says I have a green screen doesn't need to be checked.
Yes, yeah. And then I seen that there was like just a circle where your like light was kind of just line and everything. That was pretty interesting. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I can't believe we've been doing this show like this for. It's been about a year. Probably a year this week, right? Because we did our last show at the apartment around this time last year.
Yeah, it's been fine. I think it's been great.
Yeah, it works out good. I just miss having like. I guess it's cool to have like people like guests because you wouldn't ordinarily have them over. But like,
it's true.
You know, it's like I got to build like a what do you call it? Like a counter, kind of like a set.
Like a U-shaped, like a.
Yeah. So like when things just get a little more straightened out and you come over and we can actually have like a little studio and we can kind of, I don't know. Maybe when the On the Rocks ever takes off, you know, we can really put the money into that, you know. One episode still hasn't aired. It's been almost 2 months at this point. I even said to him, because he's house, Eric Danger Powers, of course, we're talking about. He's a house sitting in my house when I go to Florida in 6 weeks. And I go, because I was like, hey, do you mind staying at the house? You know, we'll buy you some food. We'll buy you some booze. You just got to make sure the dogs don't die. It's basically your only obligation is for, you know, making sure the dogs are okay. Because it's expensive to put the dogs up in a hotel for 15, 14 days. It's like, you know, fucking expensive. You know what I mean? It would be like, you know, ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah, that does not sound good fun. Yeah.
No. So I figured they could just stay here. They just hang out all day around the house. I mean, all he has to do is take them to shit in the morning, at night, and feed them. And that's about it. It's really, really low-key maintenance. You know what I mean? And I'm like, even if you don't even want to stay here, you just want to take the dogs out in the morning, come back, whatever like that, come back at night. And as long as you get them to go where they got to do, they have free range. So, but I was going to teach them how to use the equipment up here, like so you could sit back here and you could live stream all night long. But you know, I don't see that happening.
I think your son would have a better shot
because it's a little complicated, but it's not. Yeah. It's not complicated to the point where like one couldn't figure it out if they attempted to. You know what I mean? It's like it's just a matter of just kind of just following directions written down on a piece of paper at the end of the day. But that could be a challenge to some people, I guess. So, but I can't believe it's February 10th, and the winter's almost over. We're about halfway through, if not a little bit more. I'd say we got about another 6 weeks. April 1st is 6 weeks away. You know that?
I love that. That's I like the way you phrased that. 6 weeks to April 1st. LOL.
Valentine's Day is next weekend. You know,
this weekend. Well, technically, Sunday.
Yeah, this coming weekend. Yeah. So I have to send a lot of letters out to the many ladies out there.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, go through my Instagram. All the fans of the show. You know, you're all getting a special Valentine's Day gift. Probably not. My wife will be lucky if she gets anything at this point. I can't justify buying her a dozen flowers today for like $12, but like 4 days from now, that same dozen of roses that was $12 is now $75.
That's a little ridiculous.
They're not any better. They don't look nicer. They like one year I bought her flowers like the week after Valentine's Day, and I go, we're gonna celebrate Valentine's Day on the 21st because it's just our special Valentine's. It will be our Valentine's Day, and doing so, flowers are cheaper. You get the discounted 70% off candies at Walgreens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm like, why am I gonna pay retail when I can get a discount?
That's a very valid point, Artie, and a very smart point.
It's the same thing. Flowers are flowers. I know it's like windows. Okay, why don't we just pretend that Valentine's Day is on the 21st and not the 14th? It'll be like kind of an internal thing.
It's true.
Yeah, it's a gimmick. It's a Hallmark holiday, as they call it, right? Just like
it is.
It's like you and your people celebrate the Hanukkah. You know what I mean? It's like, which you should push for taking those days off next year. I would support you.
Even though I'm not, but yeah,
you're not. But if you're being accused of being such, then you should take advantage of it. Fucking A. All right, so that pushes us to the they saw it out here. How's the potato going? You have anything in the
I mean, I'm writing stuff constantly. I'm not motivated to film. I'm just not.
We need the blockbuster guy back.
Check out the Whirlwind Potato. Oh, Blockbuster Brett.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I have. I've written 2 sequels. I just haven't filmed it.
And I'm sure you're still getting hits, right? I'm sure you're.
I get comments every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
There you go.
But I just don't.
That should be motivation right there, you know. Maybe you have to get a DNA check, and maybe find out you're Irish. That'll really push you. Just like
maybe.
You know.
Maybe.
But yes, Brian Whitaker. Check him out on Amazon Prime. If the trailer's free, if you Google his name, he's the I would say probably 30, 40-year-old guy, not the old guy and not the black guy. So I mean that sums it up right there. It should be easy to find him. It's pretty funny. His stand-up is pretty funny. So check him out. Support local comics, and hopefully he finds a new home outside of that cesspool of California. That's out there. How's your friend in California? How are they hanging out there?
They're doing all right. They're fine. Nothing crazy.
Yeah, that's good.
So she's doing good.
They're like south of LA, right? They're like kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're about a half an hour from LA.
Okay, so they're not like in the city because the city's
no
huge right now, apparently, from all that's going on. But we didn't mention the Super Bowl real quick. Just congratulations to Tom Brady and Gronk for getting a Super Bowl win. And Adam's he's a little bittersweet about the whole entire thing.
Yeah, I am. I don't like the fact that it's now it kind of poo-poos in the Patriot way a little bit. Like now it's total shit. It's we knew it was total shit before, but it was like you say, you take a discount to come here and win. Well, no. And
Tom Brady.
And now it's like, oh well, Tom Brady now has, and now you got Bruce Arians has a ring, Antonio Brown has a ring, and it's like. Yeah. Well, I think it's he's now won a championship. He's not just with the Patriots anymore. He's won a championship now with the Bucs.
I know. It was a lot better. It was a lot nicer seeing him win than Mahomes, though. I gotta tell you, I'm sorry, but
I give you that. I mean, it's really it's bullshitty. I mean,
yeah. I mean, his home stadium too, which is just makes it insult to injury. And then they actually had a parade today. It was on the water, granted, but it was an actual parade that most cities wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of rub it. It's just making it look like Florida is the better place to be. So, but granted, there's a lot of people who live in that area of Florida that are Northerners. So it's kind of like Massachusetts South. So I mean, it could be worse places, right? So, yeah. But yes, congratulations to TB12 for his 7th Super Bowl win, his 10th Super Bowl appearance, his 5th Super Bowl MVP. He's the greatest of all times. I don't care what story you're going to present. He was anyways, and I agree with you. I think this was kind of maybe 99% there. This is his the extra class he took in college to boost up his GPA. Because if you want to tell me that Drew Brees or Peyton Manning or anyone could hold a torch to this guy statistically, you're out of your fucking mind. Drew Brees might have these records, which is great and everything, and he's a good quarterback, but he's not the greatest of all. He's better than Montana, and I don't give a shit if you're some diehard San Francisco 49ers cocksucker that's been following him. You know what I mean? Sorry.
I am done rooting for Brady, though. He has enough. How could you root for him again? I mean, it's out of respect in a way, too, because it's dude, you have enough. I can't root for you. How could you root for somebody who already has it all?
Now you sound like everyone who in the country, other than people who live in New England.
But it's kind of true. He now has everything. Everything. He did it without Belichick. He did it with the Patriots. He did it he's what else do you need now? He has more than.
He has a supermodel wife. He lives in a mansion. He was in Ted 2. I mean,
but it's kind of stupid to root
he
for
was
him.
in The Simpsons. He was in Family Guy. This guy has been animated multiple times. He's been in multiple movies. I mean, listen, he could die tomorrow, and people would just be like, he was better than Jesus Christ.
I know, but like my point is, like, I wouldn't root against him because I don't like him. He's amazing. It's just the fact that why would I root for somebody who has it all?
So I didn't tell you, next week's guest on the Arty 84 show is going to be Tom Brady. He's going to be on here.
That'd be great.
He's going to be talking about how great his life is. So Adam, prepare your questions because I'm sure he's not going to hold back on how awesome of a human being he is and rub it into your face.
All right, my friend.
That would be awesome. All right, guys, everyone out there in TV land, we'll see you guys next week. Should I tell you? Should I preview who the guest is next week? Because now that I'm really prepared and I know, and I have this stuff all written down here. So our guest next week. Today is the 17th. Getting there. It's going to be comedian Hendred CV will be joining us next week. So Adam, you get a week to do some homework.
Awesome.
So we're booked till mid-April at this point, guys. So stay tuned. And always, you can get us on YouTube, on the Arty 84 Show, Instagram, the Arty 84 Show, and Podbean, iTunes, and all this. All right, see you guys next week. Toodaloo, motherfuckers. Bye.